and its impact on livelihoods around what was once the fourth largest lake on the planet. Today, it is the world's largest lake, the Caspian Sea, that also faces ecological challenges, including shallowing, water diversion, and the pollution of flora and fauna. Saving the Caspian Sea must be a matter of common priority that requires long-term international cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, Kazakhstan is committed to further enhancing multifaceted cooperation with the countries of Central Asia. Our region can play a more active role as a cohesive and independent part of the international community while contributing to global development processes. Fortunately, economic activity is growing. Over the last 5 years, intra-regional trade doubled to $10 billion US. Our regional agenda includes Afghanistan, which must become a stable, prosperous state and a reliable trade partner. In this context, it's timely to establish a UN regional center for SDGs for Central Asia and Afghanistan in Almaty. I call on all member states to support our initiative. Excellencies, let me also present a brief update on our domestic reform efforts. Despite global, regional, and geopolitical challenges, our society and government are building a just and fair Kazakhstan. In a very short period of time, we have reformed our institutions, amended our constitution, curtailed the powers of the presidency, reset political and economic systems, and battled corruption. Much was done in only 2 years. The mindset of our people, particularly of the younger generation, has already changed substantially in that time. The presidential mandate has been limited to 1 7-year term. This proposal was supported by the people of Kazakhstan in the public referendum and will remain unchanged in the future. We will firmly adhere to the formula of a strong president, an influential parliament, and an accountable government. These reforms are based on the principles of justice, equality, fairness, and freedom. It is my personal credo that the rule of law must prevail in all circumstances. We understand that only political reform and investments in human capital can make our economy more resilient and robust. Kazakhstan has made significant progress in achieving gender equality and empowering women and girls. We introduced a 30% quota for women, youth, and persons with disabilities in the electoral party lists. It will allow them to participate more actively and equally in the political life of the country. In my recent State of the Nation address, I have presented a new economic policy that is designed, first of all, to provide all citizens the necessary opportunities for decent life. We are giving great attention and value to young people who work hard and, with the support of the government, will contribute to the sustainable development of the country and its leading position in international fora. The health, well-being, and good education of the younger generation are key priorities of Kazakhstan's state policy. I place my hope in the younger generation. They will drive our country into the future. At home and abroad, we are working for that better future. Let us rekindle the spirit of unity and collective action that underpins the United Nations. Let us remember that our shared commitment to a better world transcends our differences. Kazakhstan stands ready to collaborate with all member states in the pursuit of a brighter, more just, and sustainable world. Thank you for your attention.
On behalf of the General Assembly, I would like to thank the President of the Republic of Kazakhstan for the statement just made, and I request protocol to escort His Excellency. The Assembly will now hear an address by His Excellency, Mr. Sayyid Ibrahim Raisi, President of the Islamic Republic of Iran. I request protocol to escort His Excellency. I invite him to address the Assembly on behalf of the General Assembly.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وآله الطاهرين وصحبه المنتجبين. فبشر عباد الذين يستمعون القول فيتبعون احسنه. آقای رئیس، انتخاب جناب عالی را به ریاست 78مین نشست مجمع عمومی سازمان ملل متحد تبریک میگویم.
I congratulate you and give you felicitations on the 78th General Assembly of the United Nations. Since last year when I addressed everyone from this podium, the world has witnessed bitter as well as sweet events. But the world, nearly 8 decades following the establishment of the United Nations, the new session of the General Assembly commences as the world is experiencing unprecedented and historic changes. Meanwhile, the assurance of a luminous future for human society lies in the devoted observance of lofty virtues that guide people towards excellence and noble ideals. What better source than the word of the Creator to encapsulate the essence of humanity and elevate the inherent values of mankind? Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, the Holy Quran beckons humanity towards rationality, spirituality, the truth, and justice. It expounds upon the unity of mankind, proclaiming all earthly inhabitants it seeks to guide all towards human dignity, which will lead to the blessings sought by mankind. What has the Quran said to infuriate and focus the attention of those who seek power and hold the reins of power? The Quran says, humans do not accept oppression. And with this pursuit, you will be able to reach elevated divine values. The Quran speaks of equality among humans. It says that they were all created equally from a single mother and father. The Quran, even though there are differences, natural differences between men and women, sees them as completing one another and direct in the eyes of the Creator and equal in the eyes of the Creator. The Quran defends the sanctity of the family and sees children as gifts entrusted to us by God. Moreover, the Quran believes in serving those who have less than we do, and it directs our beliefs and faiths as forbidden, recognizing the sanctity of these values. Is this the first time that the words of God, of the Omnipotent, are being burned? Presuming, while they do so, that they can extinguish the divine voice for eternity? Did Nimrod, Pharaoh, Caron, and Caesar triumph over Abraham, Moses, and Jesus? The Quran forbids all forms of violence in human interactions and deems respect towards Abraham, Moses, and Jesus on par and equal to with the sanctity for the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. These understandings that bring unity and divine teachings that inspire, that build human characters, that build societies, that build progress for human societies will never be burned, is eternal. They remain impervious. The fires of disrespect will not overcome the truth, the divine truth. Mr. President, Islamophobia and cultural apartheid witnessed in Western countries, evident in actions ranging from the desecration of the Holy Quran to the ban on hijab in schools and numerous other deplorable discriminations, are not worthy of human dignity. Even more concerning is that behind the scene there seems to be an agenda which seeks to divert attention with using the tool of freedom of speech. As one Westerner said, now that the West is faced with a crisis of identity, sees the world as a jungle and presents itself in the best of lights as a beautiful garden. And some potent interests see this fabrication as their tools of choice. These apartheid has targeted the Muslim community, particularly the immigrants who are themselves victims of colonial policies. In alignment with all adherents of faith and advocates for freedom, we firmly believe that reverence for religions should hold a prominent position on the United Nations agenda in order to indoctrinate the proper framework for respect to all world religions. Concurrently with the war on Islam, we are also seeing a war against the framework of the family. The family is the most fundamental column that has supported human development, which is now under attack. Today, crimes against humanity are not just the occupation of lands and oppression against people and mass killings, but it's also a concerted attack on the family itself. That is also a crime against humanity. The protection of the nucleus of the family, made up of the sanctity of marriage between a man and a woman, is an inherent truth to be accepted by the entire world. The proper teachings of the populations at large throughout the world, unless done so within the framework of the family, will not yield the desired results. These are divine words: mother, father, natural words and concepts such as family. Actions that can be seen as wanting to bring cessation to the human race itself. We are today in need of a world movement that brings commitment to the existence of the framework of the family, so that all members of the families can experience life in peace and stability next to each other. We ask, therefore, all religious leaders to adhere to their historical responsibilities in defending the sanctity of the family and move against fabrications. We expect from the United Nations to put a very high priority on its agenda and give the proper protection to the framework of the family. Ladies and gentlemen, we find ourselves at a critical junction in history. The global landscape is also undergoing a paradigm shift towards an emerging international order, a trajectory that is not reversible. The equation attributed to the hegemony of the West no longer resonates with the diverse realities of today's world. The former old liberal order, catering to the ambitions of voracious rulers whose hunger has no end, and to that of the capitalists, has been relegated to obsolescence. In short, to endeavor to universalize American ideals throughout the world have proven to be failures. The Iranian nation takes pride in having instrumentally unmasked the true nature of the rulers in both the East and West through its Islamic Revolution. In conjunction with other nations of West Asia, Iran has played a significant role in defeating the global arrogance. Now that global nations exhibit heightened resistance and awareness as non-Western powers have emerged, there is a collective hope for the establishment of a novel and equitable world order. Central to the forthcoming international order is the abandonment of global arrogance in favor of regional cooperation and orders. The Islamic Republic of Iran advocates for maximum economic and political convergence within and between regions and is interested in interacting with the global community under the principle of justice. However, as independent nations increasingly align themselves towards cooperation and convergence, certain powers are attempting to incite conflicts in different regions. Employing a Cold War mentality, they strive to reconstitute blocs on a global scale. This regressive endeavor poses a significant threat to the security and prosperity of nations. The Islamic Republic of Iran staunchly maintains that the formation of new East-West divides should not be permitted to take shape. Making trade corridors unsafe, diminishing countries from allies to dependents, stifling the economic progress of sovereign nations, and fomenting proxy wars across Asia and Europe are all elements of the sinister chain. Ironically, these actions are put forth in the name of defending democracy. However, the global community, including nations in West Asia, have discerned the true essence of Western democracy, an appellation that all too often is a code name for coup d'etats, occupations, and ongoing wars. The true nature of the liberal democracy project has become evident to the world, revealing it to be nothing more than a velvet glove hiding a cast iron hand. A school that was once envisioned as a beacon for the world has transformed into a cautionary tale illustrating the limitations and shortcomings of the system, nearing the conclusion of its trajectory. Ladies and gentlemen, right at a time where certain powers are steering the world towards more wars, the Islamic Republic of Iran has put forward a policy of neighborhood and integration. This policy of neighborhood is a benevolent one towards the region and is prioritized on the regional agenda. The Islamic Republic extends a warm welcome to any hand that is extended in friendship, firmly believing that an independent and robust neighborhood represents an opportunity for the entire region. We will welcome any extended hand quite warmly. A stable and powerful neighbor is healthy for a stable region. Having traversed 2 decades of imposed tensions and crises within our region, the fruit of resilience from free nations from Syria to Palestine to Yemen to Afghanistan, the future prospects of the region can be secured through the cultivation of profound mutual political trust, fostering extensive economic cooperation, and establishing indigenous security measures. In alignment with this vision, Iran has established a new chapter of constructive relationship with like-minded neighboring countries through membership in regional and international mechanisms such as the Shanghai Cooperation Organization or the Northeast Economic Corridor. We have prioritized these developments in order to bring their benefits and their fruits for all of the people of the region. The Islamic Republic of Iran also stands ready in order to decrease the effects of climate change, to bring her capacity, her national capacity for renewable energy production and share those with other countries. In the security sector, the good neighbor policy seeks to increase regional cooperation and forbidden external meddling from the Caucasus to the Persian Gulf. Any type of foreign presence not only is not part of the solution, but it is the problem itself. From the Caucasus to the Persian Gulf, any type of foreign presence, not only it is not part of a solution, but it is the problem and the difficulty itself. We see the security of the neighbors as our own security, and any type of insecurity for them is insecurity for us. With benevolence and goodwill, we have taken initiatives throughout the region, even though bringing together politics and security needs strengthening. This process needs to be strengthened and can only be realized when it's accompanied by meaningful economic cooperation. The area of Western Asia, due to continued military attacks and occupations, it has been negated many opportunities for progress and development. Now that under the holy leadership of the supreme leader of the Islamic Revolution, Imam Khamenei, we have been able to drive back the rotten foundations of terrorism. We have created new opportunities for the region. The power of the Islamic Republic of Iran is an empowering security, and we seek to extend our hands to neighboring countries in order to bring about new horizons of hope and success for the entire region. We believe that this is a collaborative effort in the Muslim world, and this requires the participation of all, and this is the only pathway to blessings and success in West Asia. The Islamic Republic of Iran has many and rare opportunities for investments, which represent a great opportunity for countries from throughout the world and the region. Mr. President, dear attendees, last year was the year of the victory of the people of Iran. Certain Western nations and their intelligence services during the past year made a grave mistake by the miscalculation that sought to diminish and undervalue and underestimate the power of Iranian people. Since the Islamic Revolution's victory under the leadership of Imam Khomeini, the enemies of Iran, through various and continuous and incessant plots, sought to impose their will on our people. More than 44 years, these policies have been defeated by the Iranian people, and the Iranian people have stood victorious again and again. Now they are faced, the enemies are faced with an Islamic republic that is, the power of whom is based, and the progress of which is based on profound ties with its people. During the past year, the people of Iran witnessed the most significant waves of a media and psychological war waged against them. The United States of America, which now possesses the biggest women's prison, therefore mothers' prisons in Iran, can sincerely be the defender of women's rights. Now, the picture that they sought to introduce to the world from Iran was by commingling legitimate with illegitimate news, by fabricating lies and fake reports. Realities from Iran were censored throughout the world in order to negate the truth. Have you ever heard anything about the chemical bombardment against the Iranian people, those chemical weapons that were supplied by certain European countries to Saddam Hussein? Have you seen those whose bodies are severely and gravely damaged by chemical attacks who are still alive, but in hospital for 35 years? Have you seen their photos and images? Have you seen ill children who cannot overcome immune system diseases because of sanctions imposed on us that prevents obtaining proper medication for the treatment? Have you seen those photos? Have you seen the pictures of patience, of sacrifice, and steadfast fortitude of the Islamic people of Iran? Have you seen those pictures? Have you seen the unprecedented movement of the remembrance of the martyrdom of Imam Hussein, the Prophet Muhammad's grandson? 22 million strong marching towards his burial site for the anniversary of his martyrdom. Many countries' safeties today throughout our region are owed to the sacrifices of our martyr general Haj Qasem Soleimani. Had it not been for his sacrifice, the hero of anti-terrorism activities, many of the countries in the region would have burned to the ground in the fires set by ISIS and Daesh. Have you seen, do you recall the steadfast stories of heroic fights against terrorism through Hollywood-like generated reports in the news media? Have you seen the 25 million strong funeral of the late commander, General Qasem Soleimani, throughout Iran? Those were censored throughout the world in the West. The terrorist act of his assassination was a prize given to Daesh on a silver platter, whom according to certain American officials,